Betrayal doesn't come from your enemies. It comes from the ones you trusted the most. The friend who suddenly turns cold. The partner who walks away without a word. The colleague who stabs you in the back when you least expect it. And the worst part, you never saw it coming. But what if I told you? The signs were always there. Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, believed that betrayal isn't just a random act of cruelty. It follows a pattern, a hidden psychological script that plays out silently in human relationships. And once you understand it, you'll never be blindsided again. So why do people betray you? And more importantly, how can you see it coming before it's too late? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn may forever change how you see the people around you. Why do the people closest to you turn against you? Betrayal isn't just an action, it's a process. A psychological storm that brews quietly beneath the surface long before it strikes. Carl Jung believed that betrayal stems from the darker, hidden parts of the human psyche, what he called the shadow self. But what does that mean? The shadow self is the part of us we try to suppress, emotions, thoughts, and desires that don't match the ideal image we want to present to the world. But these things don't disappear. They just sink deeper, waiting for a way out. And often, that way out is through projection. Imagine this. You have a close friend who's always had your back until you begin to succeed. At first, they say all the right things. They congratulate you. But something feels off. Their support becomes lukewarm. Their compliments start sounding hollow. Soon, they're pulling away, minimizing your achievements, or offering subtle jabs disguised as jokes. Why? Because your confidence and progress awaken something unresolved in them: envy, insecurity, or even buried self-hate. They're not really reacting to you, they're reacting to their own shadow. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow self is one of the most powerful tools for understanding betrayal. It represents the darker, denied parts of ourselves, the jealousy, the anger, the inadequacy that we refuse to admit, but which never truly go away. We explored Carl Jung's idea of the shadow self, the dark side of the human psyche. Now let's go deeper into how betrayal doesn't start with action, it starts with emotion. Every time someone pulls away, grows distant, or subtly sabotages you, what's really happening? Their shadow self has been triggered. Deep down, they feel envy, inadequacy, or even abandonment. But instead of acknowledging those feelings, they take the easier path. They project their negativity onto you. Their inner voice whispers, "They don't deserve it as much as I do. They've changed. They're not the same person anymore." This is how betrayal begins, not with disloyalty, but with a narrative the mind constructs to protect the ego. A silent story that turns perception against you. Imagine this. You've always worked well with a colleague. You share ideas, support one another, celebrate wins. But then, you get promoted. Suddenly, their attitude shifts. They stop sharing. You hear whispers, rumors they've started. At first, it seems harmless. But then you realize they're working against you, even trying to discredit you in front of others. Why? Because their shadow self can't handle your success. They feel they deserved it more. But instead of confronting that pain, they convert it into betrayal. Or take another example. You've been bettering yourself, getting fit, building habits, starting a business. You expect your closest friends to support you. Instead, one begins making sarcastic remarks. "Oh, look who's all disciplined now. Must be nice. You think you're better than us now." At first, you laugh it off, but then you notice they stop showing up. They downplay your achievements. Maybe they even discourage you outright. Why? Because your growth reminds them of their stagnation, rather than feel inspired. Their shadow self resents you. So, how do you protect yourself? Watch for subtle behavioral shifts: distance, sarcasm, lack of support. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Set boundaries. If someone keeps undermining you, create space. And most importantly, don't take it personally. Their betrayal is about them, not you. Betrayal rarely happens all at once. It's a slow psychological shift, rooted in unresolved emotions. And once you understand how the shadow self operates, you'll start spotting the signs before the knife ever reaches your back. We learned that betrayal isn't always emotional or impulsive. Sometimes it's cold, calculated, and hidden behind a friendly smile. There are people who don't betray you because of emotional wounds, they betray you because it benefits them. Carl Jung believed that some people wear masks. They present a charming, supportive, even protective version of themselves to the world while hiding their true motives underneath. They seem loyal until they no longer need you. Think of someone who was always there for you when they needed something. Maybe it was emotional support, financial help, or a social connection. But the moment you weren't useful anymore, they disappeared. Or worse, they turned against you. These individuals don't betray out of unresolved feelings. They betray because it's convenient. Imagine a friend who's always had your back. They compliment you, defend you, make you feel special. But then, you notice a pattern. They're extra kind when they want something. And the moment you can't deliver, they go silent or pull away. You start to wonder, were they ever truly my friend? Or were they just playing the role, wearing a mask of loyalty, until it no longer served them? Now picture this in a romantic relationship. One day, your partner is loving, attentive, full of affection, and then almost overnight they become distant. They stop trying, they dismiss your concerns. Eventually, they walk away, maybe even without explanation. Why? Because they were never emotionally invested the way you were. They stayed only while it was convenient. Their loyalty was never real. These types of betrayal often come from people who lack empathy and emotional depth. They treat relationships like transactions, a way to get what they want. Jung called this behavior the result of a false persona, a social mask people use to manipulate their environment. They shift personalities based on what benefits them most. So how do you protect yourself? Watch for patterns. Do they only show up when they need something? Test their loyalty. Set boundaries. How do they react when you say no? Trust actions over words. Anyone can say I care, but loyalty is revealed in behavior. Detach from manipulators. If someone always leaves you feeling used, it's time to walk away. The worst part of being betrayed by a manipulator is this: it feels personal. But it's not. They don't do it because of you. They do it because it's who they are. And the sooner you recognize it, the less damage they can do. We explored the manipulative type of betrayal, cold, calculated, and masked with charm. But not all betrayals are driven by logic. Some are born from one of the most toxic and common human emotions: jealousy. Envy arises when someone sees in you what they believe they lack in themselves. It might be your success, your confidence, your intelligence, your healthy relationships, or even your sense of inner peace. At first, they might not even realize it, but over time, their jealousy begins to simmer, then fester until it turns into bitterness and eventually betrayal. Here are clear signs that jealousy is quietly growing into betrayal. 1. Fake praise and backhanded compliments. A person who secretly envies you will often hide their resentment behind what sounds like flattery. They might say things like, "Wow, you got the promotion. Must be nice to have connections. You're so lucky, some of us actually have to work for it." On the surface, it's a compliment. Underneath, it's resentment. They can't bring themselves to genuinely celebrate your success, so they diminish it instead. You start a business, yeah. But how long do you think that'll last? You get in shape easy when you've got time to go to the gym. They won't attack you outright, but they'll slowly chip away at your confidence, word by word. 2. Sudden distance and cold behavior. Someone who envies you might slowly start pulling away. They stop replying, they exclude you from plans. They act indifferent to your good news. Why? Because your success reminds them of their perceived failures. Rather than confront that feeling, they'd rather push you out of their life. And sometimes, they'll go behind your back. 3. Jealousy in the workplace. Imagine you and a co-worker start a job at the same time. You work hard, show initiative, and get promoted. Instead of being happy for you, they start spreading rumors. She only got promoted because the boss likes her. They undermine you in meetings. They act friendly to your face, but behind the scenes, they try to discredit you. That's jealousy turning into betrayal. 4. Jealousy in close friendships. You've been best friends since childhood. You Both dreamed of making it big. But as you start reaching your goals and they don't, they grow distant. Instead of being inspired, they feel bitter. They make sarcastic jokes at your expense. They talk behind your back. And eventually, they betray your trust, maybe by revealing secrets or turning others against you. Jealousy doesn't just ruin relationships, it poisons them from the inside. We explored how jealousy can rot relationships from the inside. But not all betrayal stems from envy. Some betrayals are driven by something called the desire for power. Point 4. The power struggle when betrayal is about control. Not every betrayal is rooted in insecurity. Sometimes, people betray you simply because they want to dominate. Carl Jung believed that many relationships contain hidden power dynamics and spoken battles for control. And when someone senses they're losing power over you, they might betray you just to reclaim dominance. Have you ever had a friend, a boss, or a romantic partner who supported you until you became independent? That's not support. That's a power imbalance. Picture this. You start excelling at work. You shine, maybe even outshining your supervisor. But instead of celebrating your wins, they become overly critical. They micromanage. They take credit for your work. They start blocking your promotions. Why? Because your success threatens their control. So they betray you not because you did something wrong, but because they felt powerless. Now consider a controlling friend or partner. At first, they seem helpful and supportive, but when you start asserting boundaries, building confidence, and making decisions on your own, they shift. They turn cold. They guilt trip you. They use silence, anger, or manipulation to pull you back into dependence. Why? Because your independence is a threat to their identity as the one in charge. Jung called this a battle between egos. When someone builds their self-worth around having influence over others, your growth feels like they're lost. So they fight back. They chip away at your confidence with subtle insults. They create conflict to keep you on edge. They play the victim to make you feel guilty. How do you protect yourself from these power players? Spot the power games. If someone only supports you when you're dependent, that's a red flag. Stand firm. Don't let emotional manipulation make you question your worth. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your growth, not control it. Because the truth is, people who betray out of control were never on your side. They only liked you when you were easier to manipulate. Previously, we explored betrayal rooted in power when someone tries to control your growth by undermining it. But not all betrayal is calculated. Sometimes, it's unconscious, a reflection of someone's own inner darkness. Point 5. Betrayal through projection when your presence reflects someone's suppressed flaws. Sometimes, people betray you not because of what you've done, but because you reflect something they refuse to face within themselves. Have you ever been accused of something you never did by someone who's actually guilty of that very thing? A friend who constantly lies accuses you of being dishonest. Someone who secretly envies you claims you're the jealous one. That's their shadow self at work. Imagine this. You have a friend who's always gossiping. One day, out of nowhere, they accuse you of spreading rumors even though you haven't said a thing. Why? Because they subconsciously see their own toxic behavior in you even if it's not real. Instead of acknowledging their flaws, they shift the blame onto you. Or think about a romantic relationship. You've been loyal. You've done nothing wrong, but your partner constantly accuses you of cheating. They snoop through your phone, question your whereabouts. Why? Because they may be the one hiding something. Instead of facing their guilt, they push it onto you. They project their betrayal to avoid facing it within themselves. Carl Jung believed that when people refuse to confront their shadow, they unconsciously look for an external enemy to blame. They cheat gives, so they assume you will. They lie gives, so they suspect you of lying. They feel insecure gives, so they accuse you of envy. They betray you not because of who you are, but because of who they are. So, how do you protect yourself from this type of betrayal? Recognize projection. If someone's accusations come out of nowhere, they might be confessing something about themselves, not you. Don't take it personally. Their betrayal says more about their own struggle than your actions. Set clear boundaries. You cannot fix someone who refuses to face their own inner darkness. when someone betrays you through projection. Remember, you were never the problem. You were simply a mirror they weren't ready to look into. We explored betrayal through projection when someone sees their darkest traits in you, but there's one more form of betrayal. Colder and more calculated, narcissistic betrayal when you're not seen as a person, but a tool. Point 6. Narcissistic betrayal when you're only valued for what you can provide. Imagine a friend who only calls when they need something: money, connections, emotional support. But when you need them, they vanish. Then one day, you discover they've been talking behind your back, taking credit for your work, or betraying your trust. Why? Because you were never a friend, you were a resource. Picture a co-worker who always praises your ideas, acts like they support you, until the right opportunity comes up. Then they steal your work, take the promotion, and leave you in the dust. Why? Because betraying you helped them get ahead. To a narcissist, relationships are transactions. Loyalty is conditional. If staying loyal serves them, they will. If betrayal serves them more, they won't hesitate. This kind of betrayal hurts the most. It makes you question your worth. You wonder, did they ever truly care? But remember, their actions say nothing about you, they reveal everything about them. So, how do you protect yourself? Stop making excuses. If someone only shows up when it benefits them, believe what you see. Set firm boundaries. Don't let your kindness become a doorway for manipulation. Cut off toxic people. If they've betrayed you once for their own gain, they'll likely do it again. Betrayal from a narcissist cuts deep because it feels like you were never truly valued. But remember this, they lost someone loyal. You lost someone who never truly cared. Betrayal is painful. It shakes your trust, wounds your heart, and makes you question everything. But it's not the end, it's a revelation. Every betrayal exposes the true character of the people around you. It's not a reflection of your weakness, it's a reflection of their character. The pain will fade. What matters is what you do with the lesson. Will it make you bitter? Or will it make you wiser? Trust slowly, observe deeply, and never fear walking away from those who don't value your loyalty. Because in the end, the right people will never betray you. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because someone out there needs to hear this today.